Greetings, friends. Do you have a taste for the unknown? Are your days plagued with thoughts of the strange and morbid? Has your thirst to know about the world's most sadistic killers ever been quenched? If not, then I'm here to help. Join me on the Nightcap Nebula podcast, where I, your humble storyteller, take you on a glorious ride into the mysterious universal abyss. Learn why your neighbor might be harboring a really horrible secret, or if that conspiracy theory you thought was false turned out to be real. Whatever your dark desire, you'll find it here. Follow me on Instagram at the Nightcap Nebula Pod for updates to the show, and listen anywhere you get your podcasts. Until then, be safe and stay curious. Now, back to your program.
In the Prohibition years of Minneapolis, Minnesota, there was an underworld. Gangs of bootleggers, bandits, sluggers, and murderers roamed the streets and conducted their business. One of the most legendary figures of that time was Isidore Blumenfeld, also known as Kid Can. He began as a newsboy and grew into the most notorious gangster Minneapolis has to offer, and either a psychopath or the nicest guy ever, depending on who you ask. Volstead Land explores this world. Join me, Amy, and my co-host Heather as we journey through this era of prohibition, bank robberies, empty promises, and murder. Thank you for joining us at the Activity Continues podcast. You are currently at part 2 of our conversation with Traci, the Dead Vows client from season 15, episode 5, called Killer Smile. We had a great time talking to her, and the whole interview ended up being over 2 hours. So I split it into 2. I really didn't edit out much at all. But if you've not already listened to part 1, you'll want to go back and do that before diving into this one. It's episode 72 of The Activity Continues. So go ahead, do that if you haven't already, and then come back. We hope you enjoy our interview with Traci.
That's a really great point, because now that you think about it, I don't recall her ever kind of mentioning what you just said. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say this, and I say this with complete respect and understanding. I think Amy knew when she got here this was going to be her last walk. Mm-hmm. I don't think everybody else knew.
Okay.
Got it.
And so there was just a lot left out. Mm-hmm. And so not just of the editing part, but like she walked through our entire house and she mentioned nothing about Catherine's room. She mentioned nothing. Usually sleep in the spare bedroom, or the guest room. She mentioned nothing about that. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've lost my mind. Mm-hmm. There was no talk about, her like seeing like some hysterical woman. Mm-hmm. She thinks she lives here. Right. She's like batshit crazy, whatever. So I think it was more of like, let's get this done. And then she was gone.
Jeez. Yeah.
Like gone.
Yeah.
And then when we were sitting at the reveal, she asked my daughter, Catherine, to write down my name and number in her small book so her assistant could vet and help me find people.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, it may be a month or two. It just depends. And I said, okay, that's fine. And so that's why I actually waited for help to start looking for help. And then the call never came. And then I called the producer and she called me back and she said, basically, I'm working on something else now, another show currently. And Amy, don't say anything, but Amy left the show.
Oh, geez.
So good luck to you.
Oh my God.
Jeez.
But see, and like Amy and Megan in the past have interviewed a few others who have kind of said similar things, only that at this point Amy was still on the show, but that they were struggling to get in contact for the help that was offered to them.
To no fault of Amy's.
Exactly.
Because a lot of times Amy didn't even know that they were not getting the help that they were supposed to. And the client would reach out to the show, and the show basically treated them like they didn't exist.
Right.
And didn't reply to them and didn't try to help.
Yeah.
And then one client, I think it was Randy, who was having a hard time getting somebody in. And he finally went to social media and tagged Amy Allen, and she was like horrified that they hadn't done anything.
Right.
And so then she got in contact with him and she got somebody for him personally. But the show apparently does that once they leave your house,
You're done.
You're kind of dead to them.
They will make you like, okay, I'm from the South. We're very welcoming people, and we're very honest people. Like I remember Steve said GD in my house and he was standing like in the kitchen and I was in the living room and I said, Steve, did you just say GD? And he said, I did. And I said, no, sir, you better find another word. And he said, well, can I say GD? And I'm like, no, something completely different. I don't care what it is, but it can't be that.
Yeah.
Steve has a potty mouth.
So do I.
He was so nice. But everybody made it so it seemed like you wanted to welcome them in.
Right.
Once they were done, that was it.
It's a show in production and we're done with you.
And we are done with you. And
Awful.
we have stirred stuff up. So what happened is after the show, I ended up having, and I'm jumping forward and because there are still things left out of the reveal that are interesting. So let me just go back to the reveal and I'll get to this later. So, the guy who died in the hit and run, he basically hangs up upstairs. That's why we were hearing so many things coming from upstairs when we kind of
like the attic
whole
area.
time. The attic area, yes, that's where he stays. And so, but he will come down, and it almost hits you like a tornado. His energy, you'll get like dizzy and nauseated and sometimes it'll last a minute. Sometimes you're like, where's the Dramamine? The nausea is too much. But she said he's the night watchman. And what happens is every night he will go systematically through the bedrooms and check on us.
Oh.
And so in the reveal, they tied it to, well, he was in the military. He did kind of had that aspect about his personality. But when he would interrupt the evil guy, this evil guy is so old, whereas the hit and run guy just passed in the 80s, that he puts the hit and run gentleman into a state of depression and suicide, which is why you hear her say, well, now he's like acting weird. Now he's brandishing a gun. I don't know what what the F is that. That's what is happening. And that's what was explained at the reveal.
Okay.
So every time I started to lose my mind or I got depressed, it just all played off of it. so I thought that, and she said, right now it's actually a good thing that that guy is here, because he has interrupted several times.
Mm-hmm.
And
The scary guy or the attic guy?
he has the scary.
Okay.
It's a good thing that the attic guy's here because
Yes.
he's interrupted the scary guy
Okay.
Protecting you, sort of.
several times. He does pay the price for it, but he still does do that. She went on to talk about the evil guy. The evil guy, his family. She honestly said, I don't know how much I'm allowed to say. They are basically a long line of psychopaths.
Oh,
Okay.
jeez.
And it's funny. And what's interesting is they let David listen to the reveal outside through a microphone in his ear.
Oh.
So hearing all of this and knowing he's by himself hearing this was heartbreaking.
They didn't let him in the reveal?
They would not let him in the room.
Why?
That's weird.
Is it because the evil guy had targeted him?
No.
That's weird.
I think for Amy, for her being in the room, Steve and two other people, along with the film crew, were enough for her to handle with COVID.
Got it.
I think that was her limit.
Yeah, that could be.
So he did get to listen to the entire reveal. He was just outside.
How long was your reveal when you were sitting there?
It was close to 4 hours.
Okay.
Wow.
And it goes by so fast.
Yeah,
Sure.
I'm sure.
Because
You're all this information coming and coming and coming, I can imagine.
right. And so she said, I don't know how. And so I think they really skipped over that part. As far as because I said to David, do you know that family? I know the name, but I don't know any of them.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, I know of them, and I know that they would cut you as soon as look at you. And I thought, oh, okay.
This is the guy with the eyes sewn shut, right? The smile.
And what else was left out was that he was previously someone tried to deal with him. At some point, he was dipped in tar. His eyes were sewn shut, and he was dipped in tar.
No.
And that slowed him down, but it didn't stop him. So at some point in time, that did happen to him.
No, as a spirit.
In life.
I don't know if it was an African voodoo type of situation with a spirit, or I don't know if somebody, 100 years ago, was having issues with him and knew it and tried to deal with him. Amy didn't know.
Wow.
She just said somebody tried to, and so that's why his eyes were sewn shut. She also was really not happy about. She was hoping the quality of the drawing would have been better.
Wasn't great.
Still better than that one, though, Amy.
The sketch artist was cute, but he was not as good as some other people.
Yeah. She said, like I said, David had two options. He could leave, just, I don't know, pack up and go ask, somebody somewhere, can I stay with you or stay at a hotel and while we do all of these things we need to do. Meanwhile, you still need to go to work. Catherine's still going, to school. It's like,
you still have to live your life.
And then if you do that long enough, then this guy will just go to somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah. Or I suppose he could even follow David.
Yeah. And that was the thing. David had to get far enough away.
Okay.
Which is another thing.
Right.
Like, his work is in this county or I don't know, maybe it butts up to it. But anyway, it's, it's not too far away.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of factors.
You can't just pick up and
so-
leave.
Right.
Most people
So
can't. I mean,
that was it.
realistically.
So I'm still confused about who this Smiley guy is. Is he the judge, the original or the owner from that they talked about? Who's the judge who had the wife and all those
Harriet.
kids who passed
Harriet
away?
was the wife.
Yeah.
she made it sound as if it was her second husband.
Because the first husband died
Oh.
before she moved
Right.
onto the property.
Because her first husband was
Right.
Ronald, I think, wasn't he? I think so.
I don't remember. But just because she talked about his hair being in the bow and all that, and it made me think of if it was a judge, if he was
Right.
this guy, although maybe her second husband was a judge
It
too,
just made me
or
think
a
of
lawyer.
Amazon,
Yeah.
from
Guess
Beauty and the
so.
Beast.
Yeah.
That's who they made it out to
Yeah. Okay.
be or sound like it was her
Okay.
second husband.
Got it.
But in
Okay.
watching the show, I don't know. Is it the son?
Mhm.
Like
I was wondering if it was the son, to be
Oh,
honest, just because.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, and then you say like the long line from what we saw, or from the genealogist, is that the second husband only had one daughter with her, Nell, who died at the age of 4 of whooping cough. But the son, her oldest living son was murdered, which we didn't really,
Right.
that one wasn't really touched on, but there was some form of argument or something that happened, and was that, my brain went to, was it
right.
him? Or was it the person who killed him?
and they didn't tell us about how he died or any of that. I
weird,
learned that
'cause
by watching the
usually-
show.
Like with the main spirit, they do more information on them.
But she didn't get enough on who he was.
True, she didn't, but ugh. He sounds like an
Interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of loose ends.
brother.
And they so behind the scenes stuff.
Mm-hmm. Here we go. Tea.
Spill it, Tracy.
I have to say the producer, Emily, did her job extremely well.
Good.
Now, she was extremely nice. She came over the night before they were going to start to meet us by herself and just kind of lay things out how they were going to work.
Yeah.
And so we knew what to expect. And I was actually outside. Amy did her walk.
Mhm.
And then we did our interviews.
Yeah.
I don't know why they flip flop it, but
I know
seems
they
like
did the
this
same thing with
season,
Annie from 2 episodes ago.
Yeah,
Annie
it
was
seems
there
like this
days before
season
Steve showed up.
It changed
Yeah.
around.
So somebody new is on the show, I think, because this season is so different than the previous 14.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't want to say I'm disappointed because that sounds ungrateful to the people who have written in and maybe not been responded to. So I don't want to sound ungrateful by saying I was disappointed in the but I was hoping for more information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course you were. I mean, you don't call the dead files for fun, you know?
What?
Right?
You
I thought you did.
I mean, we try, but they keep blocking our calls. I don't get it.
And I look like I have the longest face the entire time I'm on the show. And really my favorite thing to do is laugh. But
Yeah.
when you're talking about that kind of stuff, you can't go,
No,
yeah,
that-
and
that-
this happens. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, because then all the
Haha, no big deal.
haters and the
Mhm.
trolls will just come after you. I mean, they're going to come
They're
after
going
you
to come after you no
what.
matter what.
Well, I mean,
Right.
You've already experienced that, but I mean,
Yeah,
the subject matter is it's hard to talk about, so I would understand why you would be, not a jovial person at that point because you're talking about what you're, saying and hurting your child, and it's like no mother wants to do that.
But Tracy, I will
Oh, it's
say,
horrible.
just from my watching of it on Thursday night, and then I watched it again this morning before we chatted, you have a genuineness to you.
Yes,
I can't say that about every
client.
client that we've seen on the Dead Files, and I think I've watched every episode and some more than once. There is you know, we all talked about having some empathic behaviors and whatnot. And we've all seen a psychic together, but one that I've gone to several times. And she's told me several times that I've put up a block, I've put up walls, I've put up boundaries, and I don't take, I know when people are lying to me, and like, I don't get that feeling from you at all. Like,
or Catherine or David.
No,
I mean,
they're
all so genuine.
Which, by the way, on a happy note, Catherine's going to need to be carded for her entire life. Like, that girl, she's got the cutest baby face.
She does.
And I mean that in the most positive way, but just know that she's going to be 40 and she's going to need to be carded.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
She's like a copy and paste of you.
Yes.
Like, literally, they took your face.
She's a mini you. Yeah.
she's got a little David in there, but you can definitely tell she's your daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was just my, there's a genuineness about you. So everybody who's going out there and wants it, they want to stir the pot. They want to put drama out there. And I am catching myself from swearing because I understand that you say that. And I am a sailor when it comes to swearing. So
We all are.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. First of all, Catherine will not watch the episode.
Really?
Well, she was mortified. She didn't want to do it anyway, but she knew we needed to do it.
Yeah.
She's a very private person.
Yeah.
Like, her resting face is not an approachable one.
it's an RBF. It's fine. I have that too.
I have that too. My husband is always
I have
like,
a
why
certified.
are you so mad?
I have a certified degree in RBF.
My husband's like, why are you so mad? I'm like, I'm literally sitting, like, I'm not mad. I'm literally just sitting existing.
I am just thinking.
I'm like, I can get mad if you want me to.
Keep at it, and I will.
If you want something to be upset about, I'll give you something to be upset about.
I'll be upset if you want me to be. Like, it takes 30 seconds.
Sorry, we get derailed.
No, it's fine. She has put up so many walls, I think, because she has seen things for so long.
Yeah.
That
You have to.
and she's tried to turn off her light, and I think it's as dim as it's going to get.
Yeah.
But I think she's always going to see things.
And I'm surprised Amy didn't touch on that either, because she usually is so concerned with, or not concerned, but interested in when people have abilities like that. She always talks about it. So,
But it could also be that Catherine has already put up a lot of boundaries, a lot of walls that
Maybe.
she's protected herself from. Whereas in a lot of cases where it is somebody who doesn't know how to protect themselves.
yeah, that's true.
So 2 cents.
Yeah, and I didn't even ask Amy because I did not want that attention on Catherine.
Yeah.
Catherine did not want it, and I was going to respect her completely, but and I was not going to go, oh, and by the way, could you tell me, does my child have abilities?
Yeah.
I wasn't doing that.
No.
I know what, the last, almost 21, it's this month she turns 21.
Woohoo, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thanks. I will pass that along.
3 strangers from the internet wanted to say
But I know what she has been consistent about, and I know it's not for attention. She's over it. She's tired. She's, she's over it. So I'm really, actually, extremely thankful that Amy said nothing about her. It drew no attention to her. And that was the best that I could ask for.
Maybe that was something that Catherine was putting out and Amy picked up on.
Amy sensed it.
We've seen it in the past where Amy's like, I can't talk about that.
Yeah.
And maybe it was just something that it was like this doesn't need to be shared.
I bet she was in tune to that.
So yeah, but she's like David, where when you talk about telling the truth and being an honest person, like David calls me a doormat because I'm too nice, because, we don't want people to suffer alone. And all of the good stuff that comes along with that. They're like, nope, no is a sentence. And I'm like, no, it's not.
Yep.
So she is really stoic when it comes to, and she doesn't let people run over her.
Good.
So hopefully she won't have the long face. But she's like, I look 12.
She does look young.
She does.
And I'm like, well, you'll
That's good. She'll love it when
you're
she's old.
40.
Yep, exactly.
You know what?
That's
When
what my
you
mom always used to say.
When you get into things for the teenage prices, when you're almost 30, you feel real good about it.
Right.
Like,
And
take
she
advantage of
doesn't
it.
usually wear makeup. She does,
Mhm.
like her hair's usually in a messy bun.
Mhm.
She is not, she's not a frou-frou
Mhm.
kind of girl.
I'm relating to
nor
your daughter
she-
so much right now,
Same.
Tracy.
The RBF,
She's like
the
sweatpants,
ponytail.
t-shirt.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When she's at home.
Yep.
Yep.
And
No bra.
when she's at work, she's in.
Yep.
So, and she's not caught up in social media, which
Mhm.
I don't know how he
That's
managed
probably
that
good.
one. Yeah, probably
Yeah.
because I was home all the time.
Mhm.
She doesn't. She's not into, like, she'll scroll
Yep.
through some, but it's not
An obsession, like me.
an obsession.
Mhm.
I'll look at things, but I'll never comment because I'm like, it's not worth the energy to get into
No.
arguments with people who will never see my viewpoint.
Mm-mm.
I still haven't learned that. I still say, but I don't fight with like political people. But when people in the Dead Files group say stupid stuff, I'll correct them. I'm nice about
the
it.
stuff I've
but I'll
seen
correct
in
them.
See,
there.
that's the
And
problem.
know.
I can't be nice all the time, so therefore I'm like, don't put yourself in that position, Amy Marie. Like, just back up. And then someone pushes me to the point, and I'm like, all right, listen.
Listen up.
And then I'm like, ooh, I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, I don't get. It's hard not to get into arguments because
For sure.
there's right and wrong, and you want to set the record straight,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and you want the truth out there somewhere.
Mhm.
And it's hard to just go. It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter, and not do it.
Right.
Yeah.
I saw every excuse in the book as to why Amy left. I think it was, from my understanding, from what I was told, it was her health.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
was her health wholly.
Yep.
Yeah.
And she, I'm like, we broke the show.
You broke Amy.
Not only do we have all of this, we broke the show. I honestly did say that. And so then it was like, no, I called and was told what I was told. And then I'm like, well, we have no help. And it just went downhill from there.
That's so bad.
So, but I'm sure people are going to be like, I can't believe. And one thing I did is so David and I moved into the spare room
Mhm.
after the show because I said, which it wasn't played. I don't know. Thank God. Because I said it like 50 times. I'm like, he's never sleeping alone. He's never sleeping alone.
Mhm.
Right.
Again. So he moved into the spare bedroom. And about a week or two after he moved in, I thought, let me put a camera that I have just sitting in a box on the shelf in the room and see what happens. And you can set it to where it only records if it's motion.
If there's
activated.
motion.
Yep.
Yep.
Mm.
So now this is after I was literally like shoved out of bed and I woke up as I hit face
oh my
down,
gosh.
like in between my bed and the wall.
Ugh.
So anyway, so I put this camera in and I am appalled at what I see over the next few days.
Mhm.
I don't know how many times it's a lot of kicking, and I am sleeping through I don't even know. Like I'm sleeping through the entire thing.
And you're sleeping
And I thought I
next
was a
to
light
him,
sleeper.
right? Like you're
And I'm sleeping next to
Okay.
him. Yes.
Yeah.
You see my head on the pillow, and he is like kicking in the air. He
My
has kicked off
God.
the sheets. I can send you the video once we get off.
Yeah.
Just so
if you're comfortable.
I don't want you to share it with
No,
anyone.
No.
Okay.
No.
This is just what it looks like on camera when you're trying to fight something that you can't see. So I have a recording of that. There's a recording where an orb just shoots out of his stomach.
What?
Out of his stomach?
Literally out of his stomach through.
And did he have any stomach pains or anything the next day?
No, he's like, he's tired all the time.
Yep.
Which with her saying he's laying on the couch,
Yep.
Absolutely, because
he's
so
fighting
tired
for his
all
darn
the time.
tootin' life.
So on a very much lighter note, what mattress do you guys have if you're not feeling any of this?
Yeah.
I think it's just I have to take so much medication now to go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Like I am so scared. Well, I was. Now I'm like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done.
I mean, you get to that point where you're just like
being afraid of you.
Yeah, I can't do this anymore.
Right. I know it's still affecting David. We are in the process of working with, actually, I went to my priest. We sat down and I told him what was happening in our home. And it's funny, but Charleston, most dioceses like Catholic dioceses have one exorcist
Really?
for that whole area.
Oh, wow.
The Charleston area has, he said 4. The woman told me on the phone 3, but just our area alone has that many.
Charleston is like super duper haunted.
So,
it's an old city.
It's old.
A lot of people, a lot of turmoil and stuff with all that.
A lot of history with
slaves and stuff.
Well, we can also put out there if anybody is able to help you that they can contact The Activity Continues, and maybe there's a way that we can, if
anybody listening knows anybody,
the blackmail medium to help with the people out in the yard or any of that sort of stuff. And but we don't like scammers. So.
No, I will say, Traci, my dream city to live in is Charleston, and my aunt lives in Isle of Palms, I think. But
does she?
Yes, I absolutely love Charleston. It is my favorite city, and I want to retire in South Carolina.
I mean, I want to visit because there's a lot of really cool restaurants that I want to go to, but the history. There's a lot of history. I love
and they
history.
have cobblestone roads. It's just, oh my God, I love Charleston
I mean, that
so
probably
much.
holds on to a lot of the history because that stone.
I just love it. I love Charleston. So
it is beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
It's stunning, and the history. And
I read somewhere that they have an ordinance that you can't build a building taller than the Capitol.
That wouldn't surprise me.
It's just, I just love it. Oh my God, I just love it so much.
But I mean, you walk through the old slave market, and
I don't love that.
They use. But the part that's open to the streets, it's where a lot of vendors set up. So there's great pieces of jewelry or art or things, baskets that are hand woven.
I do love that, but I don't love that.
It's funny. We went to we did a tour of the jail here.
I think I did too.
Which was, supposedly, well, not supposedly, it did house the first female serial killer in the U.S. was the Charleston jail.
I want to say exciting, but not in a good way.
When I tell you we felt nothing there, it was like, now we have to go back home. It's worse at home than it is.
Yeah.
They just felt like, ooh, that vibe. Nah, we're not going to mess with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was horrible, but we caught on camera. We did catch the guy upstairs. In an orb form.
Really?
And he came into the room, comes around the corner, stops at the foot of the bed, right at the center, like he's checking on David and I, and then it just disappears.
Wow.
Like
That's
he's
so
doing his
sweet,
rounds.
Though. That's nice to know that you have something there that's trying to help you.
Yeah.
But no, he's being attacked. When I say every night, and when I send you the video, you're going to be like, oh my goodness. And I hope you do an edit to this to go, oh my goodness. You know, that's scary.
Yeah.
When you see it in real life, what people go through and what it looks like. You know, when I say, oh, he's fighting someone in his sleep, well, I'm not talking about you're moving your toes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so there a lot of orbs, a lot of shadows. It got to the point where I finally just unplugged it.
Wow.
I didn't want to see it anymore.
Yeah.
Oh,
There was nothing
I don't
could
blame
do.
you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't do anything. Why would you want to watch your partner go through that?
Right. And David, he was a fireman
Okay.
for well over a decade, over about a decade and a half. He has seen, you know, because they're first responders as well here.
Yeah, yeah.
So every car accident, every, you know, he has seen it from burned bodies to, you know, coming out the car windshield.
Ooh.
And to him, it's like, oh, if I don't see a bone sticking out, then you're not hurt. Right.
Oh my God, it's my dad. Like, my parents are the same way. My mom's a nurse. My dad was a teacher and a coach.
Yeah, they're like, you're fine.
Yep.
You're
Walk
fine.
it off. It's fine.
Right. That day Catherine started that rash, I said, David, I think she needs to go to the doctor. He's like, I'm sure it's fine. It's probably bug bites.
Sounds like my mom.
End of that afternoon, he knew it wasn't bug bites, but that's okay. No bone was sticking out, so she was all
There was
right.
no blood, no bones. We're good.
Right. So he, you know, he's a guy's guy. For him to hear, they could have left out some of that stuff.
Yeah.
And put in other relevant stuff that was more interesting to the story, I thought. But no, that's happening to him all the time. And, you know, he has medical blood work and stuff that shows he's got issues that were unexplained. And now we know why.
Got it.
Yep.
That's how bad it is.
Yeah. Oh, that's too bad.
Hi, friends. Do us and yourselves a favor and check out our affiliate, 3 Spirit Drinks. They create plant-based, non-alcoholic elixirs that are cruelty-free and vegan, and they are designed to give you some of the benefits of alcohol without the hangover and other side effects. If you're looking to cut down on alcohol but still want the buzz, check them out. The link is us.3spiritdrinks.com and use the promo code The Activity Continues for 15% off your entire order.
So, but other than that, I really am a nice person. I'm the, you know, the doormat. So I've started to learn to set boundaries.
Good.
Good for you. Good.
So
You need. I need to
and
learn
mood
that,
swings
but-
they're kind of, for the most part, they're gone.
Good.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
I'm like, that's not mine. I did a lot of stuff around here. I got some stuff from my, you know, our Catholic church to do. And as far as that part goes, those are basically gone. The fatigue still here. The fatigue is definitely still here. You have no drive to do anything.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, I need to hang this. And,
but I don't
you know,
want
6
to.
months later, I'm like, I need to pay the mortgage. Yep. I need to pay the mortgage. Well, it's going to be late if it's, and the money's sitting right there.
Right. Yeah.
It's just, there's
No desire.
there's so much no motivation, which I know I didn't say that right.
I get it. We get it.
That you don't care what the repercussions are going to be. You just have no motivation to do it.
Yep.
Right.
It is just ridiculous. So that was that. I'm excited to see, I guess, you know, I saw a post where, cause I don't follow her. But I saw in, I think one of the discussion posts, she's opened a shop or done something. She didn't even remember how many episodes she did. I thought, yeah, haha. And I was sitting here thinking help was, you know, just a month or two away.
Yep.
Yeah.
But apparently she's opened a shop, and I'm anxious to see how Cindy does.
Me
I am too.
We are too. We really are. I will say we were just talking before this, and we were kind of miffed that the Dead Files didn't do anything for her. I mean, they didn't even do like an on-screen text for her last episode or like anything. We were just kind of miffed. Like they couldn't even, say thank you so much,
Thanks
Amy.
for 14 years. Yeah.
Okay, well, I will tell you this. Number one, the chemistry between Amy and Steve, it was bad. It was bad.
Oh, really?
To the point, at one point, they started to argue whether slavery still exists or not. And
I'm actually not surprised by that.
Not from his post.
Changed, like, I looked at Amy and I was like, so anyway, you were saying that, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That was, I think Amy was just done.
Yeah.
And that's fine. If she wants to be just done, that's perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
There was so much information. They could have made that a 2-hour special, dedicated the last 10 minutes to all of the, things she's done or whatever reel they wanted to put together to say goodbye.
Yep. And they did nothing. Nothing.
I was hoping they'd take me off screen and put her saying goodbye but I think it was immediate and both parties were not happy. And I think it was crappy they didn't send her off with anything, with any well wish, any thank you, any
without her, they wouldn't have had a show for 14 years. So
right. I do know that she co-produced the show. And I remember the first episode, that woman the woman who said she was an energy healer, and Amy's like, you've got no I don't sense any abilities.
I love it when she calls people on their baloney. Like, I love it when she's like, actually, no.
No.
Like, one of my favorites I remember was at the Lizzie Borden house, and she moves the sofa and it's like
finds a Ouija board.
And finds the Ouija board, and she's like, no.
Yeah.
What is this doing here?
Yeah.
And and we were told when you walk in, they're going to be sitting at the table. Don't say anything to Amy. Like, she can't keep her focus.
We've heard that.
Whenever she's talking, you have to let her go wherever she's going to go, and don't ask any questions until we prompt you to. So that was, but the chemistry between the two. And so then they were like, okay, we're going to COVID test you. 3 days before we arrive. Okay, that's reasonable. Then they're like, well, her walkthroughs tonight, we're going to spray your house for COVID. I'm like,
She's really
I don't even know what that is. But okay, I hope it's safe for pets because, we have
That's
3.
what I would be worried about too. Yeah.
And it left a smell that is, I can't place it. And it's funny because I can't see, I usually am great with smells, hearing, and energy, like being able to read people because I can't see them.
Right.
And so I'm like, okay, so you're going to spray my house. That's fine. Then it was, well, we want you to test the morning of the reveal. Now this is all 3 days. And I understand testing. I do, but we don't rapid test every time we swallow the wrong way.
Right.
Well, and especially because none of you tested positive. Like, I get it if somebody had been, had a cold or something like that.
Symptoms.
Recently just had, my grandparents came back from a family gathering in another state, and my grandpa tested positive and my grandma tested negative, but when they tested 5 days later, it was flopped.
Yep.
So I get that but somebody was sick.
Yeah.
There were symptoms.
There was a reason.
Right.
It wasn't just testing for fun.
So the night before the reveal, actually, it got really bad. I had the producer and co-producer in my entryway in the house. And I'm on one side of the gate. We have the gate up for the dog. And they're on the other side. And David's like, I don't know if she'll even talk to you. He let them in. Like, it was bad.
Wow.
And it was all over this COVID testing because it was like, when is it going to stop?
Yeah.
We've tested,
Even
we had to have a specific test at a specific place. You sprayed my house with God knows what. Now you want me to test again. It's my nose isn't dry from their first swab. You asked me to.
I mean, even the CDC has lifted their guidelines, and you just treat it like another illness,
So, that part, it was bad.
Yeah.
And I was not going to fold. And the only and I asked the producer, I'm like, do I need to, like, is there something that is so bad here that I need to do this? She's like, yeah, there is. But I was not going, like, I was mad.
I'm sure.
Because it was ridiculous.
That's a bit
ridiculous. And then you sit down at the table and Amy and Steve aren't getting, you can tell.
I wonder if Steve knew that she was already had one foot out the door.
Because I feel like their chemistry has been good up to then. Like, we haven't heard this from, any other clients. Not that we've done a ton, but the ones that we haven't said anything.
I think it's because he has more of a conservative view. Yeah. She's more, from, I don't know if she's from California. I don't know where she's from.
Colorado.
She's from Denver, but she lived in California for a long time.
But she's got a more liberal, left-sided view, and Steve's more right-sided.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I can see where they would, clash kind of easily, because we're sitting at the table, and she just starts vaping.
Yeah,
during the reveal.
She did mention that it has become. She was trying to quit smoking, so she went to the
and now she's
vape pen, but now she's more addicted to the vape pen when she was trying to.
And she's still smoking.
Yep,
and she's still smoking too.
Right.
So yeah.
So but nobody asked me about that.
That's kind of rude.
Hey, is it okay if someone vapes in your house? No, but she's at the reveal and she's just vaping, and I'm like. Okay, then
that's
at the reveal.
She gives 0 Fs at this point.
She really does.
She does not. And at the reveal, she pointed to me when she was talking about this evil guy, and she said, "He doesn't give an F about you, and he doesn't give an F about you." And she didn't say F; she said the entire word.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there thinking, you just pointed at my daughter and said the F word.
Yeah.
Like, we're in the South. It's just, it's manners and hospitality, and you don't
cuss.
Do that.
Yeah.
It's just not a courteous thing. I mean, Catherine she looks 12.
Right.
We don't talk like that.
Right.
We don't just throw that around. A bone better be sticking out or ready to stick. I'm kidding. It happens.
Yeah.
But it's not a date, in every sentence kind of thing. So, but she was like, he doesn't give an F about you, and he doesn't give an F about you.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
That's aggressive.
But I think some of that, is how she manages when there's energy present in the room too. Because you can hear her voice change when she's talking about specific. Like she gets a northeastern accent when she talks about specific things. And I don't know. This is my thought is that somehow that however she changes her way she talks or her lingo or the affliction in her voice has to do with dealing with something that's there. Some of it's probably her, but I mean, I swear like a sailor, like I've mentioned before, but I think that there's potentially something that plays into that, especially when you watch throughout the different seasons when she does things. And like this episode, it was every time she said the word exhaustion. There was a change in her voice.
Absolutely. And I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. It's not polite.
So, it was just, I think she was trying to make the point.
Yeah.
That, listen, you may see him as a shadow figure. He may be out. It's funny when she was doing her interview, they did let me sit in the foyer so I could listen to her interview. And which was heartbreaking to say the least.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
But the co-producer kept coming in and going, because she was describing whatever was at the window as a creature.
Yep.
And I don't know what Amy saw on her walk. I don't know if she said maybe a slave or was at her, has been at this window. But Catherine would not change it because that just wasn't the truth.
Right.
It is what it is. And to your point, your very gracious point you made earlier about us like just seeming to be honest and because I can't see and it's been so long, things just are what they are.
Yeah.
Right.
And you can't fix it.
Right.
Like, I mean, some things you can fix, you can work on, but for the most part, it is what it is. You take it or leave it.
Right.
And so Catherine's like, I'm not changing what I said I saw.
Right.
Right.
So
for
I
her.
don't know what Amy said that she, was outside. And so I wonder if she said there were slaves outside her window trying to get her attention or something. But Catherine kept saying it was a creature.
Yep.
And that would not come across well.
Yeah. Well, and I think, there's been so many episodes where we've seen where, and this is again in previous season mostly, where Amy describes something and Steve goes and finds the something and he's like, well, is this the person you saw? And she's like, no.
Yeah. No.
Could this be who you're talking about?
No.
I don't think so. Like there's that connection. So it's really interesting that they wanted to, which also doesn't surprise me, about wanting to fit the narrative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Better.
But I also don't think that, I feel like Amy would find that to be disproving of what she does.
Right. And I feel like Amy's all about the honesty too. And she wouldn't want to change what she saw or what Catherine saw to, like Amy said, fit a narrative or fit what they want. Because Amy sees what she sees and she tells you what she sees.
And that's all she can do.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would give almost anything to have a transcript of her walkthrough and the reveal.
Yeah.
Because when you're sitting there, we don't have a recording of it. I don't know
it's hard
why.
like Amy said, you're taking
I didn't have
so much
David
information.
Right. And then we can't write it down.
Yeah.
And then you're shell shocked.
Right.
Yeah. They should have given you a copy of that audio at least.
We have, so it was, and I was so in shock that
Concerned about this.
Catherine will be like, yeah, she said that at the reveal. And I'm like,
they're
don't
more concerned
that.
about the money, and that's why they won't but even after your episode airs, it's like, why can't you be given a transcript or known what all transpired through that rather than, but I understand there is a business there, but it seems the facade of helping people.
Yes. The business is to help people, and if
it's a facade to help people.
Yeah, but if you're promoting that you're helping people, and then you're not taking steps to actually help them, that's not great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what I thought.
Yeah,
I'm really sorry.
I don't know. It worked out however it was supposed to work out.
That's a good way to look at it.
At least I know why.
Yeah.
Some of the things were happening here. After that reveal, I woke up every morning and as God is my witness, I would walk past the door to the attic, which is in the laundry room, and I would say good morning, thank you for watching. And I did that for a really long time. And then I realized I need to stop doing that. Not because I don't want to be nice, but I need to live in this world and they need to live where they're supposed to live and go.
Yep.
Like, I'm sorry. We talked about the slaves, and it's funny. Like 2 days after they left, we have a statue that has been leaning against a tree in the backyard for so long that it has grown into the tree.
Okay.
Wow.
And it's been fine for the entire time we've lived here. It's scary. It's of a little girl. I just don't look at it, but it's right there.
Yeah.
2 days after the filming, it was completely broken, sliced across where its Achilles tendon was.
What?
That's the front door.
Oh my
As
God.
God is my witness. I just picked her up and she put her back. She's still there.
Wow.
Since the episode last Sunday, Catherine's battery died. This Sunday, our TV in the living room. We came home from church, and this is the second TV in this house that we have the sound, but then we lose the picture, and the TV's done.
Wow.
Weird.
Different brands of TV, because everything is electric.
Yeah.
The issues we have seem. So yeah, we lost our living room TV.
Shoot.
Jeez.
That we lost that today. The guy upstairs, I heard him stomping yesterday like crazy. It's not happy. I heard David last night, he sleeps in the spare room on the weekends, but during the week when he has to get up so early, he sleeps in the master bedroom and I sleep in the spare bedroom because it doesn't do any good. If I wake him up every 5 seconds, then he's not sleeping.
Right.
I'm not sleeping. Nobody's sleeping.
Right.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't make for,
A restful evening.
a happy, restful, right. But I heard him last night and it's just been, my neighbor's like, we're just waiting for the next thing.
Yeah.
An
An unrelated question, but what are the names of your pets?
So Catherine's German Shepherd, he's 2.5 years old. And I say Catherine's because I had Guinness.
Yep.
And
attached to
once I lost him, I said I would never get another dog, another animal. That's how traumatizing.
Yep.
And I haven't. But Catherine never had a dog of her own because animals seem to come to me for some reason and not to her. I mean, in our old neighborhood, I had a duck that would come into our house.
Oh my gosh.
Fun.
She would sit on our porch until we got home. It's the strangest thing. So I wanted to make sure she had her own
Yeah.
Yep.
animal. So she got, at the worst possible time, a
Usually.
brand new 8-week-old puppy.
Oh.
When she started her, I guess, sophomore year. So maybe he's right before she started her sophomore year in college.
Okay.
So to add to that stress, we threw an 8-week-old puppy in there. So now his name is Mr. B. Because she was going to call him something that started with a B. And she's like, no, I think he's just Mr. B. So I call him BB King. He's mostly black.
Yep.
He's beautiful.
Oh, nice.
It's with the Belgian shepherds that have that. Yep. The black and then have brindled legs or the brownish brindled
Yes.
legs.
And what's funny? My brother is he works for a canine department.
Okay.
He heads a canine department. The first time he came over when Mr. B was older, not in the puppy stage anymore, my brother, I guess, didn't come in with an alpha attitude. Came in with a, sweet talking, but Mr. B cowered. He knew my brother was this alpha and it was the most odd behavior. And my brother went outside in the backyard with him and said something, and I don't know if German, I believe.
German, yep.
I don't know if it was Laos or whatever it was. And Mr. B did it. I'm like, seriously? Seriously?
Wow.
Like, I will fight you for that for, a good 2 minutes before I finally give up. He says one word, you've never met him, and you're like, you drop it.
It's the energy.
Get out of my face. So we have Mr. B, and then we have 2 rescue cats who are sisters.
Okay.
Aw.
They came from the same litter, and one is a dilute calico.
Okay.
Oh, pretty.
One is a regular calico.
Mhm.
And their names are Sprinkles and Shadow.
Stop it. That's
Oh,
adorable.
cute.
Catherine was young.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can tell. That's so cute.
Does Mr. B get along with the kitties?
Shadow really loved Guinness. She would get on the ottoman with Guinness and curl up. Because Mr. B was a puppy and Guinness was trained not to pay attention to cats. I think that's why she liked him. Mr. B is like, oh, I want to paw you to be my friend. I want to play. Sprinkles, after 2.5 years, is like, okay, I'm tired of being behind this gate that goes into this living room. My mom's in there, so I don't care what you do.
Yeah.
I've got my claws.
Yep.
And I am coming out. Now Shadow is starting to come by the gate, but she hasn't. The gates are open at night and he's crated, so they have run of the house. But he loves them. He just doesn't know how to be soft.
Yeah.
Yep.
He doesn't know how to be easy.
That's the way it is with my toddler and our cats. He loves them. They do not reciprocate.
Oh,
He wants to be their best friend, and he's always like, kitty, and he runs over, and they're just like, get away from me, and they flee. That's really
My sister's cats are pretty good judgments on dogs, and they come in and they with Briggs. She has one, G, and G is kind of a gray and brown tabby, but she would just and rub. Or she would flirt with Briggs.
that's how Sprinkles is with Mr. B.
He was convinced that she is like the devil, and he would sit and stare wherever she was. You always knew where the cat was. Well, most of the time, and he would sit there and stare, and then he'd be like, Briggs, she went by you already. She's upstairs.
Yeah.
And he would just be like, no, I'm pretty sure she's downstairs. I'm pretty sure she's right there. And he would just sit and stare. He never did anything with them, but he was just like, I don't understand what this is.
That's funny.
How funny. Speaking of see things, one thing they left completely out of the show, and they interviewed my neighbor that they just didn't air, which I told her they weren't going to have her on there because there was just too much information.
Yeah.
And every episode I watched of this season had 3 people, and it was usually the homeowners. So that she got off the hook for doing this 9 months ago. But she and Catherine both will have seen the, I'm assuming, what are the slaves in the tree. And Catherine's described it. It's like blacker than night. It will block out the moon, kind of, and Jamie has, said the same thing, but they left that part out, I guess, which it really isn't important. She said, doesn't matter what you do, it's always going to feel heavy and weird.
Yep.
Because of the history.
Yeah.
You can move whatever along. Don't move the guy upstairs along until everybody else is gone.
Right.
Because he's kind of a protector.
Yep.
So meanwhile, that is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we should probably wrap up. We've been talking quite a long time, but we want to thank you so much, Traci, for joining us and giving us all this good information.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for your time and everything else that you provided to us. I think it's really beneficial and helpful for us to understand a little bit more and kind of as people go along so that we can continue to help support each other.
And hopefully you can find some relief soon. We really hope so.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you allowing me to be on because I think it let me clear up a lot of things.
Yes.
Number one, I really am not a narcissist who thinks only about themselves.
Did not come across that way to
never
us.
even thought about it. We've all met narcissists, and you are as far from them as you can possibly be on the spectrum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh my gosh, it's going to be poor David, and I'm just going to be me.
You
No.
could hear your
but-
voice in the episode be like, oh my God, was I just thinking so much about myself? But you have to think about yourself too. Like you can't forget about filling
Right.
your cup. If your cup's not full, you can't help
Right.
others.
You have to put your oxygen mask on first before you help other people.
Great. Are we now crashing a plane?
I'm just saying it's a metaphor. It's a metaphor.
We're a great comedy duo.
We're here all week. Tip your wait staff.
Yeah, no, I mean the mood swings were really bad.
Yeah.
And once I started looking for help, they got really. I mean,
Oh,
I
of
thought they were
course.
bad before the show.
Right. Because he
After
doesn't
the
want to
show.
be put out. He doesn't want to be obliterated.
It was. I was. Yeah. It. That's a whole other episode, but and you don't have that kind of show, but no, it did definitely spike after they left. But I do appreciate you letting me, and I know we've been on a long time, and I've talked the whole time. I am so
Perfect.
sorry.
No, this is-
That's
this
the way
is
it's supposed to be.
Absolutely perfect.
But I did want. I'm glad I could fill in like
Yeah.
the stuff I know they had to edit because they only have so many minutes.
Right.
The behind the scenes stuff, I can tell you they were nice when they needed to be. I don't know if they're genuinely nice or not because I haven't kind of contact outside of that. Steve and Amy definitely could butt heads just because of say what side of the line they may fall on.
Right.
And the things haven't nothing's improved really except the mood swings.
Yeah.
And I really am excited about Cindy.
Yeah.
I hope she can at least for people who are just finding the show, they catch up and watch all 15 seasons and then, they can continue to watch it.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll do something next episode introducing Cindy. I hope. I mean, I feel like they almost have to because you can't switch over after 15
I think
seasons.
I think that's why they started labeling her, Amy, and Steve at the beginning of the last couple episodes. They had never done that before, and they put the names in, and I think that's where that's coming.
God.
Oh, I saw an orb, I think.
Ooh.
Oh.
Just now?
Yeah, but not on your screen, with the two people.
Oh, I just saw it.
Oh,
I just saw one go between
I did too. It went
you guys.
here, it went down.
I wasn't paying attention.
I caught it in my peripheral, so sorry.
That's
No,
bizarre.
Well, again,
know,
thank you so much, Traci. We really, really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, we really do. But
well, thank you for having me.
you're welcome.
Have a wonderful
and
rest
I
of the
will-
day.
Thank you. I'll send you the video.
Yeah, great.
Really, I really enjoyed myself.
Good.
And I would
That's what we love to hear.
sit and chat with you ladies again.
Okay, well, we'll
So-
do it. We'll do it for sure.
Definitely.
Anytime, please
All right.
send me a message and I'll send you the video. So
All right.
please take care.
You
You
too.
too. Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to the Activity Continues podcast. We really appreciate you giving us your ears for a bit. Please reach out if you have a suggestion for which episode of the Dead Files we should cover next, or if you have a spooky story you'd like us to share on the show. We can be reached at theactivitycontinues@gmail.com or through our website or any of our socials. Links are all in the description of the show. Please feel free to drop us a note and say hi. And join us next time when the activity continues. The Activity Continues is produced by me, Amy, at Collected Sounds Media and is part of the independent Collected Sounds podcast network. We are also proud members of the Boo Pod network of super cool podcasts.
Nailed it.